Going on? Jackson here. Welcome back to Daily Endeavours for Saturday the 19th of July. So we've got a 15 steel set. The golden vendor's on. That'll be at the end of the video. I'll have timestamps in the description for skipping through to whatever stuff you want to watch. So this set, everything here is pretty good. I would say crafting with woodworking, furnishings, and mementos though would be the quickest. But yeah, giants, Tel Vars, it's not bad either. But yeah, probably this is like the least reliable one, just because it's in a place where, you know, other players can fucking run you over, you know, whereas this one here, you don't really have that issue. But yeah, entirely up to you, you know, whatever you prefer. So I will start with crafting with woodworking. For this one, you need a total of 12 maple and 4 star materials. That's all you need. So any bows or staves here with maple, that's the cheapest possible option. You know, you can do writs too if you want. You know, you could do a woodworking writ, and that will make 3 items. You can either do 2 writs or just 1 writ and just craft 1 extra item for maple. And you know how writs are. You can get some good stuff from them. You can get surveys. You can get rosin as a woodworking item, which is I personally use rosin a lot. Rosin and tempering alloy mostly, because upgrading weapons to gold is very valuable, and rosin's kind of one of the main ones you use. And then yeah, like I said, surveys, you get repair kits, you get more rubidite. Sometimes you get other star materials, sometimes you get other woodworking materials, sometimes you get maple back. Yeah, there's all sorts of things that you can get. So yeah, I do suggest that, or just make some maple stuff. So in this case, you just make 4 bows with star materials here. Just deconstruct them afterwards to get some of the materials back. That way you're not completely wasting it. Now, star materials, any carpenter in the game, usually you'll find these guys right next to a woodworking station. These guys sell all the 10 base racial star materials for 15 gold a piece, as many as you need. I would say get these over buying them in guild stores, because for some reason they're like more expensive in guild stores. I've heard some people tell me it's more convenient, but I still don't understand, because what's more convenient than just a guild store that never changes and you can buy as many as you want? I don't understand. Anyway, so that's where you get your star materials. The maple itself, there's 2 ways I would suggest. One way is just to buy them in guild stores. So, you know, Glenumbra is a good place to do all these, because the guild stores you'll probably be using today, maybe, if you want to get a memento. And, you know, you've got easy woodworking station here that you've got a waste on that you start with, and you can do furnishings here too. So, you know, everything you need's kind of here. So let's just have a quick look at these guild stores. Sometimes they'll have maple, sometimes they won't. I wouldn't really suggest using anything more than maple, because maple is like, it requires the least amount of items, and it's still a very cheap source of woodworking materials. Because yeah, look at that, 4.6 gold a piece, a full stack of that for $1,000. That will last you many of these, like, yeah, like probably like 15 of these endeavors. So yeah, you're paying $1,000 for what is basically 150, you know, 100 steels. I think that's good value myself. The other way, I might as well stay here because Imperial City. The other way is, yeah, Imperial City. You can also use Cyrodiil, or you can use as an example, like, if you find bows in Overland and places like Vocal Guard, you've got bows in Bright Steel Armory, you've got shields in Fighters Guild. But the only reason I would suggest using Imperial City over this is because the items in Imperial City aren't stolen, so you can't accidentally give yourself a bounty if you make a mistake. You know, if you know what works, just do that instead, though. But yeah, that's just one thing to keep in mind there. Also, cloaking, stealing doesn't work anymore. I should check that, actually. Okay, so in Imperial City, there will be shields, bows, and staves, like in random places in the starting areas. If you pick these up and go to a woodworking station, like this one for example, and you deconstruct the items that you find in these places, you can get materials from these. So because I'm max level, I get max level stuff, but if you come in here on like a level 10 character, you can get maple that way. So that is one thing to consider there. But yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass using Imperial City that way, though, because yeah, you can only be in here level 10, and then you've got until like level 15 before you'll stop getting maple stuff. Alright, I need to test something. I was told that cloak stealing doesn't work anymore. So let me see if I can find something to steal from them. Doesn't seem to stop me. I'll try container-based things, or like the weapon stalls. Maybe if I don't crouch? No? No, it still worked. That on maybe... Do you mean on PTS? I would say maybe it's PTS that's been patched. We'll see. So there are only 2 mementos that you really need to look at for this one. Mementos have a cooldown. If you use one, as you can see here, it's got a cooldown. Some of them can be really long. So it can be impractical to deal with that shit, even though like you can just use one to a different endeavor than just use the same one. But if you just want to do 2 very quick, the only 2 I think are worth bothering with is Cherry Blossom Branch, which has a pretty low cooldown and is very easy to get your hands on, because you can just buy this from a guild store once. You've got access to it from then on for as long as you need. The other one is called Glenir's Smoke Orb. The reason I suggest this one, even though it's from a public dungeon, so you have to go through the thing to get it, it has like the lowest cooldown I've seen of any of the mementos. Maybe there's some that are better, but it's base game, it's easy to do, easy to reach, kind of. And yeah, just good. Because yeah, it's like 2 seconds of a cooldown. It's really good. To get Glenir's Smoke Orb, you need to go to Melabel Tor, complete the main quest in Crimson Cove. The quest comes from Naval Intelligence, this one here. So yeah, Crimson Cove, and yeah, it's Glenir who gives it himself, so yeah, it's pretty straightforward to find. Once you do that, you got Glenir's Smoke Orb, or if you buy it from a guild store. So let me just go through. So go into guild stores here, just reset with all items. I'm pretty sure it's in consumables container, and then it's just type cherry. You won't find them in all guild stores, but yeah, if you look around, look at that. 100 gold, 1,000 gold. Again, spending 1,000 gold to do these endeavors really easily for the rest of the time, that's a good investment, I think. But yeah, you'll find some super cheap options here, because these have been around for a while, and now most people have them now, so yeah, it's not a super important thing to try and sell. Yeah, just keep looking around, you'll find one. And then we'll just use it again, and that'll be it. And yeah, it's kind of fun to go around and just cherry blossom people. You've been cherry blossomed. Alright, furnishings. So you can use one furnishing to do this very easily. It's possible to do this completely for free. If you don't have a house yet, let me show you what to do first. So this is probably one of the quickest ways to get a house. This spot right here, it's like right next to a way shrine that you start with by default, so you can just travel here whenever you want. Rosy line here, this is the area that you're looking at. So come to this spot here when you go into the tavern, and you'll be looking for this quest giver here. So if she's not here, you've already got the quest done, and you'll have a house that you can use. If not, talk to her. That's all you have to do, and you'll complete a quest. Once you do that, if you go into the map tab, go to houses, you'll see a house here in the collected category. All you got to do is click on it, and the ones you get for free all have a furnishing in them that you can use. So as an example, we'll go here, shows you where it is on the map, left click, travel inside, confirm, and you'll get taken straight there. So this one, I say it's good, like it's really good, but the reason I did it after the other 2 is because what you can do is you can do those 2 first, and then as soon as you've done those, you can travel straight to your house. So it's like a convenience thing. Instead of going to your house first, going back out and running around to get back to the stuff, you can just go straight to your house afterwards. It's just, yeah, for me it's just more convenient, because you can do the same thing for the giants one. As soon as you've killed all the giants in the area, you don't go back to the wayshrine, you can just do this instead. The only one you can't do this for is Imperial City. You can't actually travel to your house in Imperial City. But that one's not too bad either, because with Imperial City, if you queue into Cyrodiil, you can get straight out into a safe zone anyway if you're in the middle of danger. Alright, so firstly, housing editor at the bottom right, whatever that button is press that. Then browse at the bottom middle, press that button. And yeah, you can find items in your thing here to place. But what you can actually do with any house that you've got a furnishing for, the free houses have this candle here that you can use. What you want to do instead is go housing editor, and then click this. Don't click it back down, because that doesn't do anything. if you just click it, it doesn't actually place it. The item has to come from your inventory onto the floor. But there's a way to sort of cheese that a bit. So if you pick it up and then go put away, R key, now at the bottom left you'll see it says undo. So press that key, and as you can see, that's actually counted as progress. And now it says redo, so you hit that, and then we undo again, and it counts again. So just spam undo redo. I think I went too far, yeah. Undo, redo, undo, until it works. So what you can do is, anytime you want to do the Furnishings of it, you just come straight in, housing editor, pick it up, put it away, undo, redo, until you get it done that many times. And you can do the same thing for the specific ones. You just have to buy the specific type of furnishings for them. But it's the same thing. You just pick up one, put it in your house, and whenever this endeavor comes up for that type of furnishing, you just go up and pick up that one, do the same thing, undo, redo, spam. And yeah, it's just the same shit. So next up is giants. So you don't have to just fight giants, and I definitely suggest you look at not just fighting them. Because sometimes when you come through and fight like the places where there's lots of giants, there'll be other people doing the same thing. Because usually there's not as many giants as there are ogres, sometimes you'll struggle to kill them because everybody else will kill them before you can get a hand in. Not always though. As you can see, this place is kind of quiet at the moment. But if it's on like prime time, you might struggle. So what I can suggest to you instead is looking at ogres. So this here is Lower Yorgrim. This is a good place to find giants themselves. There's a house through home tours you can get to easily here, which can lead you very quickly over. And once you enter East March for the first time, you'll have this way shown anyway. So yeah, easy to get here, but this is usually where everybody else goes. So my two preferred places to go for this, one is in Green Shade, this dungeon down here, Carrickdina. This has got lots of ogres in it. It's just a bit of a pain getting here for the first time. I don't think there's any houses nearby. Let me have a look. Yeah, I suppose you could use Boulder Tree Refuge. That's kind of close. And yeah, there'll be heaps of ogres in here. The other one that's pretty good is Shinji Scarp up here. And it's the same thing. There's a house pretty close by. You've got Gardener House up here. So you travel to this, get this way shrine, and then come up here, get this way shrine, and then you've got easy access to Shinji Scarp from this point. And once you get to Shinji Scarp, just travel through the wall here, the broken wall. The ogres will be throwing rocks. They might knock you off your mount, but don't worry too much about them. Just get up and keep walking. And as you can see here, there's ogres here. They're quite strong, more strong than most other overland enemies are usually. But yeah, the only real annoying thing they do is like the fear. I don't think you can block it. Yeah, you can see another group of them here. Let's fight this group. There we go, another fucking fear. And yeah, that's it. So you can see more ogres there, more up there, another one there, another one there, another one over here. So just run around, you'll find some ogres. And yeah, you see there's just here, there's like even more giants than there were in, or giant type enemies than there were in Lower Yorgrim. And it's the same thing in Carrickdina, they just spawn in like small groups just very frequently. And yeah, from this point, now that you've got this way shrine, it'll be easy if you want to do this again in the future. So I think that's enough info, I think, about giants. Anything else I think is just complicating matters too much. There are dungeons where you can find them, but they're like, one's a DLC. I guess you could go Rothgar. Around Mad Ogre's Altar, there's a bunch of ogres here. And you do have an easy way shrine here too. This could work. But this is a DLC area. So yeah, if you don't have Volsinium, you can't come here. But if you do, Poraz's Pinnacle is probably the quickest way there if you haven't been here before. There are also giants in Maelstrom. There's both giants and ogres in the 5th round. The Frozen Rink. The Rink of Frozen Blood, I think it's called. But yeah, again, it's a DLC place, and if you don't have anyone who's done Maelstrom yet, you have to go through all the other fucking arenas first, and it takes a little bit getting through. But if you do have someone on that round, you can do that as well. This could be pretty helpful. Alright, so now I'll cover the last option, which is going to be Tel Var Stones. So, again, would kind of recommend everything else, just because it's just like more straightforward, but this Soshin's not really that terrible either. So, in order to get Tel Var, you either need to complete quests in the Imperial City, or you need to kill stuff in the Imperial City. That could include players, which will also be a problem for you, because that means other players are going to be on the prowl. So, in order to get to Imperial City, just enter the campaign here, through the Alliance War tab. It's L key on keyboard by default. Let's go accept. You'll be ported straight to Imperial City, you don't need to... It used to be the case where you had to go all the way from Cyrodiil to the Imperial City, like you actually had to travel through the zone. It took fucking ages if you didn't have any keeps nearby. But now you can travel to it immediately. So, either you can travel straight into the sewers themselves and attack enemies here, or you can travel to the district. And I do advise using the district, because if you're super, like, if you're not into... like jumping down and getting into fights down below, because the players there are fucking rough. They are tough, so sometimes it might not be worth it trying to get into fights down there, just because you get rolled over every time. It won't stop you from getting Tel Var, like, because there's 6 districts, you can just choose a different one, but it will slow you down, which is kind of annoying for endeavors, because you don't want that sort of thing getting in the way. So I usually go to the Arena District, because the quest here is also quite good. When the White Strike event comes around, I usually come here to do the event ticket, because you can get the quest here and someone else can usually do the... Like, if somebody else frees these prisoners, it'll still count for you if you're close enough. Anyway, so... the bigger the enemy, the more Tel Var you get. So if you kill one of them, you usually get twice as much. There's one of the big bads of the place. Well, not the big bads, but one of the bigger enemies. So as you can see here, got some Tel Var. We got about 20. Now, that's, it's a little bit of progress, but I'm going to just go through some ways that you can increase your progress. But understand, if you want to do this the really fast way, one, you have to just be lucky enough that there's enemies around the area that you spawn, because you don't want to go down there. And 2, you want to make sure nobody's around to kill you, because if you die, you lose half your Tel Var, which, if you do this strategy, it is rough, because, Tel Var is not something you want to give up willingly. Okay, so at the bottom right, you'll see there is a Tel Var multiplier here. So what you can do, if you have Tel Var in your bank, you get, here's the thing, right? You get lots of Tel Var. You get 5,000, even 10,000 Tel Var through daily rewards each month, usually. Sometimes it's 5,000, sometimes it's double. You can spend this on stuff, and it's really, you can get some really valuable stuff with Tel Var, so it's good. But if you can hold on to 10,000, I would advise that you do that, and I'll show you why. So if we go to withdraw, go Tel Var, grab 10,000, and as you can see at the bottom there, we have now got a 4 times Tel Var multiplier. So if I go and kill one of those Ogres again, instead of 20, it would have given me 80. So from a single Ogre, you could have, basically gotten half the progress done already. But at the same time, if I die now, I lose half that Tel Var. So I want to be a massive coward at this point and not go down, because I don't want to lose this Tel Var. They're too valuable. But if you've got a ranged build, you got staves or bows and you got some ranged abilities, you can just sit there and plink away at them from the top of the tower, and you get immunity to enemies pulling you down and shit. If you're up there, you still will take damage from players if they target you, which can be a problem if you're really low health. A player can easily take away 20,000 health in like that. It's super quick. Some of the gankers, man, they're fucking ridiculous. But if you play it safe up there, you can get that done very quickly. The other thing that can impact the Tel Var gain is these things here. So each of these districts, if your faction owns them, you get an extra capture bonus of 33%. So right now, Ebonheart Pact owns half of them. So that means this gives me 4 times, but the 3 districts that we own actually increases it by an extra 1 time. So I actually have pentuple, is that right? 5 times the amount of Tel Var gain. So if I were to go into one of these districts, I'll just see how much I get from something. Because the regular enemies, they give you 9 or 10, usually. Or 8. Huh? Wait, what? I can't attack them? What the hell? It won't let me target him. He's like a figment of my imagination or some shit. There we go. That was fucking weird. I couldn't attack anything. Okay, so looking at that, so now instead we get 31 Tel Var, so that's quite a fair bit above. I think we've just had, oh no, we've still got 3. And okay, yeah. So, you know, it does increase the amount of Tel Var you get from enemies. So that does help a lot. Like, it progresses it ups the progress very quick. The other way to, oh, fucking reminding me of my failures. So the other way to get Tel Var is to complete these daily quests. So that one there, like the civilians down there, if you just rescue them all, even if you get killed afterwards, it's no big deal because you can just respawn in the real city. You complete these, you get a Tel Var satchel as a reward, and these have 200 Tel Var in them. So one quest is all that you need to complete this straight away. So you can do that too, but some of those quests can be a pain in the ass, especially if the district is like run by another alliance. Yeah, not much else to that. Just you will get this done. It's just some ways you can do this much faster, but it's high risk, high reward sort of thing. Whichever way works for you. Alright, Golden Vendor time. So this week, or this weekend, we've got Increditus Behemoth and Symphony of Blades. Both helms, which is good. If you don't have the DLC for these, this is a way to get the helms, because you already have access to the shoulders by default anyway as well. So, Symphony of Blades, really good support, like, group sustain set that I think still to this day healers will use. I don't know if... I would say maybe there's, like, other ones, but this is a really good one. Because, yeah, just... I'm pretty sure it's a targeted buff, like it's not an AoE either, so you can travel around while you use it, so it's probably good in PvP too. And yeah, it just gives you magical or stamina every second for a little bit. It's got quite a long cooldown, but that resource sustain really helps your group. Because, yeah, the more sustain that your group has, the better they can fucking just focus on damage for the rest of it. So yeah, Symphony of Blades, really, really good. Increditus Behemoth, also an interesting like group set. Extra, reducing flame damage taken. I think most people look at the extra flame damage done, which is good. But in this day and age, I think if you're looking at like optimizing trial runs, most people will be running like subclassed Assassination, Herald of the Tome, and either Dawn's Wrath or Atrix Spear. In that case, there's not many sources of flame damage that you're going to use. So the extra flame damage done is not that relevant, because it's like 5% of what will be, honestly, like maybe 10 or 5% of your damage. So it's not that big an increase. But this is like one of the few monster sets that will buff your group's damage. So it's worth considering. And, you know, outside of optimized cases, people will probably be using things like Maelstrom Inferno as well, and like, you know, Dragon Knights and Necromancers have a lot of flame damage in their kits. So if you're running if you're running a full Dragon Knight trial run, like this would be fucking great. But yeah, I think the flame damage done reduction to enemies is very, very valuable though, even outside of that. Because there are some trials where you just take flame damage and fucking nothing else. Like, an example is like Halls of Fabrication. There's so much flame damage in that place. Even though it is old, like if you are progressing, this could be a good set for something like that. But yeah, it's not super powerful, not anymore. Maybe in the days where like Magicka damage dealers were running lots of flame damage a couple of years ago, but yeah, nowadays it's not super important. Alright, so going through the jewelry or necklaces, we've got Kinmarch's Cruelty. This gives you 5 powerful debuffs to put on enemies. Major Vulnerability and Major... I think Major Defile, personally, is like really good. Major Cowardice as well. Yeah, I mean, all of them, honestly. But yeah, you usually get Major Breach from other things. You want to put that on your bar anyway, usually. And yeah, Major Maim is good too, I suppose. But the issue here is the randomness. So, like, say if you want to push an enemy, like deal a bunch of damage to them, you end up getting like Major Cowardice instead of Major Vulnerability. And it's like, oh, well, I kind of can't burst them as hard this time. So you kind of have to rely on it being completely random, which is, yeah, not reliable at all. So, yeah, very strong set, but hard to rely on. And, you know, it's an Overland set. It comes from, is it Fargrave? I'm Maybe Deadlands has the same ones. Oh yeah, Kinmachi's Cruelty, here you go. So it's a heavy set as well, so can sometimes not be great for cases like that. And I mean, in that case, the jury would probably be good because you can offset the heavy armor that way. But the other thing is, oh God, what was I going to say? Okay, I think, yeah, if I remember anything else, I'll talk about it after. But yeah, okay set, just hard to rely on. So the Bone Pirate, this is a pretty damn. Oh yeah, it's yeah. What I was going to say, it's not a. You can buy it on guild stores, but you can't get it in base game. So you do need a DLC for this. But yeah, usually you just get it on guild stores. I'd say it's pretty cheap on there anyway. Because like you look at that, 125,000, but the gold jewelry on guild stores is like 40,000 or 50,000 at max. Like, don't buy it here. Alright, yeah, Bone Pirate. That's usually what people call it. This set comes from oh god, what is it called? Blackheart Haven. It's one of the base game dungeons, the Bankrai base game dungeon. It was really good in PvP back in the day when it came out, but nowadays it's not that great because max stamina is less powerful these days than it used to be. Weapon damage is like the main buff that you want. But yeah, the recovery is pretty good, and yeah, like you also, I guess, don't use drinks as much as you used to. I think these days you'd use things like Jewels of Misrule. Sorry, this is both in the case of PvP, because you wouldn't use these in PvE, sorry. PvE, you want consistent stuff, and yeah, you don't really need this kind of thing in PvE either. Yeah, PvP, so people mostly use Jewels of Misrule or the Smoked Bear Haunch or the Sugar Skulls, and they're all food, so it's not great for this one. But if you're using Dubious Common Throne, it's decent. But I wouldn't spend 200,000 fucking gold on one of these things, especially when Blackheart Haven's so easy. You can almost do it on. The only thing is you can't do it solo, really. Maybe on normal, it's not a big deal, but yeah. The last boss will turn you into a skeleton, and you can't do anything basically for like 30 seconds. It's a pain in the ass. Usually on normal though, he dies before he even does that. Okay, Leviathan. This is another Dungeons base game set, and it is very straightforward. Just gives you a tiny bit of stam and then a ton of crit chance. You get this from Crit of Hearts though, and Crit of Hearts on normal is fucking brain dead easy. So again, wouldn't buy this for 200,000 gold. It's a good set, especially Mother's Sorrow, but for medium armor like stamina builds. So yeah, it's pretty solid, but it's more annoying to get because you have to go through a dungeon instead of just like doing a public dungeon for like a while or buying it on guild stores. And you know, in that case, you'd probably just get Venomous Smite instead, because that's a good set too, and you can get that, you can buy that as well. But yeah, Leviathan, it's solid. It's not amazing, but it's dependable. I know crit is chance, but when you get like 60% crit chance, it's pretty reliable at that point. And then Steadfast. So core combat abilities is anything like roll dodging, blocking, bashing, break free. Those are like all core combat abilities. Anything that every person has access to. So it's not all of your non-ultimate abilities or shit like that. It's just the stamina cost or magic cost if you got an ice staff of like break free and sprint and sneak and all that shit. I don't think that's worth it all when you can just stack some recovery and get some other 5-piece sets with like much more unique abilities. And usually you don't want to go the best of like, or you don't want to go like jack of all trades. You usually want to go master of one. Like for example, if you're running like a sprint build, I don't think this is like worth much. I think you're much better off going something like Dark Stride and getting 50% reduced sprint cost and sneak cost for that matter. Because, like, you're not really going to be roll dodging a lot in those cases, so I'd say, like, not really worth getting. Where does it come from, though? I don't know. Sorry, what's it called? Steadfast Metal. That's PvP, isn't it? Oh no, it's High Isle. That's a base game. That's a DLC set. Alright. Yeah, no, I wouldn't use this myself. Kind of. Yeah, like I said, jack of all trades. but Master of None. In this case, definitely not a definitely want a Master of One. Okay, that's all the stuff. So daily's done, Golden Vendor done. If you've got any insights on the Golden Vendor that I missed, I'm sure I missed something, let me know. Or if you have any questions about the Endeavours themselves, just let me know. But it's a pretty straightforward set of Golden Vendor items too. Alright, thanks everyone for watching as always. I do appreciate the support. I'll see you all next time. Have a good weekend. See you next time.